They said the world was ending, not tomorrow, not in 100 years, but right now, slowly, quietly, like a flame running out of oxygen. And in the middle of all that death, there was a boy no one believed in, a boy who carried a seed in his pocket like it was made of gold. His name was Eli, 11 years old, skinny arms, dirt under his fingernails, eyes that had seen too much for someone so young. He lived in a place where the ground had forgotten what rain felt like, where trees were just stories old people told, where the sky was always gray, always heavy, always pressing down like the lid of a coffin. His town was dying. Everyone knew it. The wells had run dry 3 summers ago. The crops turned to dust before they could grow. Families packed up and left in the night, chasing rumors of water in distant lands. But Eli stayed, not because he was brave, not because he had nowhere else to go, but because of something his grandfather told him the night before he died. Eli, the old man whispered, his breath rattling like stones in a can. There's a place, north of here, 3 days' walk, where the last tree in the world still stands. They say it's guarded, they say it's cursed, but if you can reach it, if you can take a seed from it, you can plant hope where hope has died. Eli didn't understand, not fully, but when his grandfather pressed something into his palm, a small wrinkled seed, he felt it, a warmth, a pulse, like the seed was alive and waiting. His grandfather died that night, and the next morning Eli left. He told no one. His mother was too sick to notice. His father had left years ago, chasing work that didn't exist. So Eli filled a canvas bag with stale bread, a canteen of murky water, and the seed wrapped in cloth. Then he walked. The first day was the hardest, not because of the heat or the hunger, but because with every step the voice in his head got louder, the voice that sounded like every adult he'd ever known. You're just a kid. You'll die out there. What makes you think you're special? What makes you think one seed can change anything? But Eli kept walking, because the only thing worse than dying in the desert was giving up before he even tried. On the second day, he met a man, sitting by the side of the road, covered in dust, eyes hollow. The man looked up as Eli approached. "Where you going, boy?" Eli hesitated, then said, "North, to the last tree." The man laughed, not a happy laugh, a bitter, broken laugh. The last tree, right. I went looking for that once. You know what I found? Nothing. Just more sand, more death. Turn back, kid. Save yourself the pain. Eli didn't turn back. On the third day, he ran out of water. His lips cracked. His head spun. The sun hammered down like a punishment. He stumbled, fell, crawled, and just when he thought he couldn't go any further, he saw it. A silhouette on the horizon, tall, dark, unmoving. The tree. It stood alone in a valley of bones and ash. Its branches were twisted, gnarled, reaching toward the sky like hands begging for mercy. Its bark was black, scarred by fire and wind and time, but it was alive, barely. A few green leaves clung to its highest branches, trembling in the wind. Eli collapsed at its base. He wept, not from joy, from exhaustion, from relief, from the crushing weight of everything he'd carried to get here. And then he heard the voice. "Why have you come?" Eli's head snapped up. There was no one, just the tree. But the voice came again, deep and ancient, like it was rising from the roots themselves. "Why have you come, child of dust?" Eli's throat was so dry he could barely speak, but he forced the words out. "I need a seed to plant, to bring life back, please." Silence. Then the voice spoke again, softer this time. "Many have come, warriors, kings, the desperate, the brave, all wanted to take from me. None understood what it costs." "I'll pay," Eli whispered, "whatever it costs." "Will you?" The tree's branches creaked. The seed I give will grow, but only if it is watered with something precious, not water, not blood, but hope, true hope, the kind that believes even when the world tells you to stop, the kind that plants knowing you may never see the harvest. Can you give that, boy? Eli looked at the seed in his hand, the one his grandfather gave him, and he understood. This wasn't about saving the world. Not yet. It was about believing it could be saved. He stood, legs shaking, and he dug into the dry earth at the base of the tree with his bare hands. The dirt was hard. It cut his skin, but he kept digging. When the hole was deep enough, he placed the seed his grandfather gave him inside. Then he covered it, patted the earth down, and waited. Nothing happened. The tree was silent. The wind was silent. Eli's heart sank. But then, from the highest branch, a single leaf fell. It drifted down, slow and deliberate, and landed in Eli's open palm. And when he looked closely, he saw it, tucked inside the leaf, a seed, smaller than a grain of rice, glowing faintly like an ember refusing to die. The voice spoke one last time. This is not magic, child. This is faith. Plant it where you came from. Tend it. Protect it. And when others mock you, when they call you foolish, remember this. The world does not end in fire or flood. It ends when the last person stops planting. Eli closed his fist around the seed, and he walked home. The journey back was longer, harder, but different, because now he carried something more than a seed. He carried a promise. When he returned to his town, people stared. They thought he was a ghost. But Eli didn't stop to explain. He went to the center of the village, to the square where the old well stood dry and cracked, and there, in front of everyone, he knelt down and began to dig. "What are you doing, boy?" someone shouted. "Wasting time," another said. But Eli didn't answer. He planted the seed, covered it with earth, and then he did something no one expected. He poured the last drops of water from his canteen onto the soil. People laughed, called him crazy, but Eli knew something they didn't. Hope doesn't need an audience. It just needs someone willing to start. Days passed, weeks. Eli watered the spot with whatever he could find, dew from the morning, tears from the night. And then one morning, a woman screamed. A sprout, tiny, green, fragile, but alive. The crowd gathered, silent, staring, and for the first time in years, someone whispered, maybe it's not over." Eli smiled, not because the world was saved, but because for the first time, people believed it could be. And sometimes that's all it takes. One seed, one boy, one stubborn, ridiculous, beautiful refusal to give up. Because the world doesn't end when the trees die. It ends when we stop planting them.